Hello, television family. We have gotten together again. I hope you had a good Monday. Now it's Tuesday, 25th day of March, 2025. I'm Dan Kuntz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, and we are in for, by far, the nicest day of the year. Few high clouds outside of that, bountiful sunshine, very mild, at least 70, maybe a little warmer than that with sunshine for everybody. Ridge of high pressure is here. It ain't going to last very long today. That's about it. Tomorrow things get very interesting. It's going to be warmer still on Wednesday, but very unsettled weather is in store for us for the middle of the week. We can get a little bit of everything on Wednesday. Can't even rule out a thunderstorm late Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday night. I don't think we're going to break a record high temperature today. We're going to be pretty close to it. Wednesday we have a good chance of setting a new high temperature for the 26th, but we're not there yet. And then the big cool down begins as a rather impressive trough of low pressure slides into our area. Overnight Wednesday into Thursday, temperatures cool way down, back down to normal. We start talking about rain again. We got a little bit of everything. But today, if you have a chance to get out and enjoy today, do it, because it's going to be nice, really nice. All the weather details that you need, and there's a lot of it, is coming up. Plus, of course, a busy day in the bullpen, which means a lot of news coming your way. Sports, a little light on sports. It's more what's coming up than what happened. The Mariners played their last Cactus League game of the year yesterday in Peoria. It was a tie against the Padres. It's a game that doesn't count, so what's the point of pushing the envelope a little bit and maybe worrying about injuries or overextending your relief pitching corps? So they called it quits after 9 innings. We'll talk a little bit about that. And it's our last visit of the, well, hockey season, if you will, with Austin Drade, the broadcasting voice of the Wenatchee Wild. Will be live here, as he always is, on Tuesdays on this very program to talk, well, we'll wrap up the season, the post-mortem, if you will. Wenatchee Wild, of course, failing to make the playoffs. So we'll talk about some of the awards that were handed out last week at the big banquet. Some big news regarding the Western Hockey League, an old rival of ours from the British Columbia Hockey League joining the WHL next year. Plus all kinds of cool hockey talk with Austin. We're going to be missing our Tuesday visits, but one more visit with Austin as he drops by live here in this studio in the back half of the program. Let's do our cameras around the valley. We should have some pretty spectacular views. The fact that the sun is now coming up 5 or 6 minutes before the show begins makes it pretty easy to pick out some pretty nice cameras. Sunrise this morning was at 6:53. Sunset tonight, and we can start saying tonight now, 7:21, 12 hours, 28 minutes of daylight. That's 3 minutes and 25 seconds longer than it was yesterday. Good morning to the Wenatchee Valley. A little few pink-colored, salmon-colored high clouds up there, and really that's about it. We topped off at 66 yesterday, which is a little bit warmer than we were anticipating. Our normal high is 55, so we were 11 degrees above normal. In fact, our overnight low was 11 degrees above normal. 47 was the coolest temperature that we had on Monday. Our normal overnight low is 36 degrees. Yeah, it was very mild indeed. Good morning to the Wenatchee Valley from our Wenatchee Heights camera. Camera 2, we are back up to Blewett Pass. Sun's beginning to creep up there. Snow melt in a significant way on Blewett Pass, as you might imagine, as we're getting deeper and deeper into March. Of course, we're a week from now. We'll be in April, just like that. So good morning to Blewett Pass. A couple of patches of snow there. All the passes now are going to be fine. They're not expecting anything. In fact, as the system rolls in overnight, Wednesday night into Thursday, they could see a little bit of light snow, but not too much in the Cascades. Our third camera to visit on this Tuesday. We are off to Lake Wenatchee. That will burn off rather rapidly. That's the low clouds and fog that has a tendency to settle into those narrow valleys, especially over large bodies of water. Lake Wenatchee isn't that big, but it's big enough. But the sun's only been up there for about 5 or 6 minutes, so it'll burn off, and Lake Wenatchee will have a very pleasant day today with more snow melt. Local streams are going to be rising at a pretty good clip as the snow melts with very warm temperatures. And camera number 4. Gorgeous, beautiful. Billy goat, I'm assuming. And again, same kind of deal. Low clouds and fog hangs over the Columbia River. It'll burn off rather rapidly as soon as the sun gets climbing up into the sky. That stuff will be 86. It'll be gone Johnson by 9:30 or 10, and then they'll have a beautiful day up in that area. Omak right now, you're at 41 degrees. We're sitting at 45, but we're going to warm up big time by about 26 or 27 degrees from where we are today. 2 slides to show for you from the National Weather Service. This shows some of the areas that we don't normally show, but look how warm it's going to be in Lewiston. Lewiston's going to be in the lower 80s tomorrow. Moses Lake, you'll be at 73, not quite a record, but pretty close. Our record high on this date is 74 degrees. That was set back in 1960. We're not going to get there, I don't think, today. I don't think we're not going to be able to reach that. But we have a good chance on Wednesday, even though the clouds will be thickening up, especially Wednesday afternoon. We have a very good chance of setting a new record high for March 26th. That's tomorrow. Our forecast high and our record high about 74. We hit 74 degrees back in 1994, 31 years ago. We have a chance of breaking that, or at least tying that on Wednesday. And then everything changes Wednesday night. We start talking about thunderstorms late in the afternoon, say 5:36, 7-ish on Wednesday into Wednesday night. Now, we don't have a chance of anything severe really getting crazy, but of course, thunderstorms are totally unpredictable. As the system moves in Wednesday night, it's going to really make the atmosphere unstable. And considering all the very warm weather we're going to have, not just here in the Wenatchee Valley, but all over the Pacific Northwest, when you combine all that warm weather and all that instability, almost anything can happen. So there is the possibility of a thunderstorm. As you can see in the light green area, it's a chance of a thunderstorm. Not a great chance. We're going to have rain Wednesday night into Thursday, but most of it will be coming down in the overnight hours. But as long as the warm temperatures and the instability in the atmosphere exists late Wednesday afternoon into late tomorrow night, we do have the possibility of some thunderstorms, which is pretty rare in March. That's more like a July and August kind of scenario there. From the National Weather Service, sunshine outside of a few high clouds, right around 70 degrees. Could get a little warmer than that in some locations. Again, our record high is 74. Not going to get there, but no complaints. First time we will hit 70 today. If we do so, and I think we will, since, what was it, October 20th of last year, almost 160 days was the last time we hit 70 degrees. We are in our springs around here. 49 for the overnight low tonight with clouds rolling in. Wednesday, we'll have some sunshine in the morning. As the day progresses, the clouds will be thickening up. The system rolls in. The atmosphere becomes unstable. Will be about 73 or 74 for the afternoon high. Not quite a record high. If we get to 73, again, the record high on Wednesday is 74. We'll be awfully close to it, but lots of instability. And then Wednesday night, a chance of a thunderstorm. Not a big chance, but a very good chance of rain. We got about a 90% chance of rain overnight Wednesday night into Thursday. Thursday morning, rain, clouds all day Thursday, and a lot cooler. We're going to go from 73 to 58, which is getting back down to normal. So Thursday looks fairly wet. We have about a 40% chance of rain on Thursday night with 43 for the overnight low. Friday, still unstable, lots of clouds, light rain. High of about 54. Not bad on Saturday. Lots of sunshine and back up into the upper 50s anyway. And then hit and miss showers within a good shot of that on Sunday and Monday as we're getting ready to say goodbye to March and welcome April. But again, today, just gorgeous. Get a chance to get out and enjoy it, to catch some of that vitamin D. It'll feel good. All right, after a 2-minute break, whatever's making news on this Tuesday will come your way. You're watching a Tuesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
A ductless unit from Carrier can keep anyone comfortable. Take Shelly, for instance. She finds me time in her new attic-turned-home gym. And with her Carrier ductless unit, the temperature is always perfect, no matter how intense her workout gets. Carrier. Total comfort, totally happy.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Alpine Air. Heat and air, call Alpine Air.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
Central Washington Water is home to the Hot Spring Spa for over 45 years. Come see the Freshwater Smart IQ. It monitors your saltwater spa's pH balance, chlorine, and more. or the cold plunge tub that will leave you feeling rejuvenated. Plug-and-play spas make hot tubbing easy. With great financing available, cold water, salt water, hot water, Central Washington Water has a spa for your budget and your lifestyle. Stop by today.
The family at the Eplidolin want to help your loved one feel at ease in their new home environment. Eplidolin offers beautiful one-bedroom and studio apartments. Residents enjoy 3 delicious home-style meals a day, laundry service, housekeeping service, and encouragement to make themselves cozy in their new home. Eplidolin welcomes your family to come and visit their family. Eplidolin, independent and assisted living. They make the complicated easy for you. Call today for a tour. Few high clouds to the north of us, fairly clear to the south of us, 46 degrees here in the Wenatchee Valley. We have a great chance of hitting 70 for the first time in about 160 days today. 70s tomorrow with a lot more instability, maybe a thunderstorm, and then whoops, the bottom drops right out and we go right back to typical late March weather by the time we get together on Thursday morning. It's 11 minutes after the hour. Sunday night, Wenatchee Valley firefighters responded to reports of a fire on the second story of the Christopher House. The Christopher House is an assisted living facility primarily for residents with behavioral health issues. Firefighters responded to the scene and were surprised to discover that an act of heroism had occurred. We had a chance to visit with Wenatchee Valley Fire Chief Brian Brett and got the details of this rather remarkable incident.
Last night at just before 6 p.m., Wenatchee Valley Fire Department was dispatched to a commercial structure fire at the Christopher House. The Christopher House is in the 100 block of South Cleveland, and it's a licensed state facility, 5 stories in height, 70 occupants, that takes care of people with developmental, behavioral, and medical needs. Fire crews arrived to find smoke coming from the second floor, and then they discovered an extraordinary act of heroism. The nurse, Kayla Hauk, she went to the fire alarm panel when the alarm went off, looked at the panel, noticed it was coming from the second floor, secured the occupancy for everyone else, went up the stairs, found black smoke billowing from behind the door. She grabbed a fire extinguisher, opened the door, and with no visibility could hear the patient. She enters the room, can't see anything, discharges the fire extinguisher, locates the patient on the bed, by herself pulls the patient off the bed, drags her across the floor, out of the apartment, down the hallway toward the stairwell where she was met by firefighters, and she transferred care of the patient directly to the firefighters. And then the fire crews were able to extinguish the fire. The fire started by the occupant of the room smoking a cigarette with oxygen on. She had a nasal cannula on and she was in bed smoking, and that is a bad combination. Kayla's acts of heroism are above and beyond any emergency protocol. She disregarded her own safety to save an occupant of the establishment she works at, and we can't thank her enough. The room had moderate damage. The patient was reportedly taken to, well, I know she was taken to Central Washington Hospital, female in her 50s, and I heard she was airlifted to Harborview, which is typical protocol for burn injuries, and I don't have an update on her condition. The room had a moderate smoke damage. It cracked one of the windows. A sprinkler head activated and kept the fire contained for both Kayla's rescue and for firefighters to search it for additional occupants and complete extinguishment.
A Leavenworth man was arrested over the weekend after a Saturday altercation in downtown Leavenworth, right on Front Street. Chelan County Sheriff's deputies say 30-year-old Neil J. Henderson became involved in a dispute with a 25-year-old man and others inside the Post Office Tavern at about 10 o'clock on Saturday night. All the participants were evicted from the tavern, but later on encountered each other again on the Front Street sidewalk, and apparently that's where Henderson allegedly threw the 25-year-old to the ground and kicked him repeatedly in the head. Deputies say the victim was knocked unconscious and suffered a broken nose. Henderson was arrested Sunday morning after deputies interviewed him and reviewed security footage that allegedly showed the assault. No charges have yet been filed. Chelan County Assessor Wes Cornelius will host 4 community meetings over the next 3 months to teach county residents about how property assessments are conducted. Cornelius and his team will answer questions related to how sales data is used for market analysis, why neighborhoods are broken up for reevaluation purposes, and more. Each meeting will also include a description of current real estate trends and how they may affect assessed values this year. The first meeting will be tomorrow from 6 to 7 at the Antioch Grange Hall. Now, this summer marks the 50th anniversary of the end of the Vietnam War, and at 2 o'clock this Saturday, Wenatchee Valley College will play host to a special commemoration of that conflict. Vietnam Veterans Memorial Day, it's a national day of recognition, and local veterans groups promises a day of honor and ceremony. Our own Jefferson Robbins spoke with Ron Kerpis and Robin Thompson, two Wenatchee Valley men who served in the Vietnam era. They outlined what people can expect at this free public event.
It's going to be in the Student Rec Center. We're expecting a standing room only, but you know, we don't know until we get there. But we have the Wenatchee Valley Symphony Ensemble, and we have the Apollo Club. They're going to be doing singing. We have Christy Robinson, who's going to sing one of the opening songs. We have some very military type things that we're going to present. The flag, we'll be presenting a folded flag for the 58,281 that didn't make it back from Vietnam. And there'll be very militaristic celebrations, and we're going to have a 21-gun salute. It's going to be a good event. We're trying, because this is the last year of the 50-year commemoration, we're trying to make this the biggest and the best event that the Valley's ever seen for Vietnam vets. That's what our goal is.
Can you say offhand how many Vietnam-era veterans we know of are living in the Wenatchee Valley?
Yeah, I don't know that, but what we really want to do for this event is to reach out to the Vietnam veterans who don't belong to the VFW or don't belong to the American Legion or go to the Veterans Hall, because they need to know about the event and come to us. Not only just the Vietnam vets that we want at the event, we want the next generation there too. We want the people who protested against the Vietnam veterans, we want them to come too, because a lot of those people, they don't feel right about what they did back then.
Robin, talk a little bit, if you would, about the Honor Guard. It's a feature of these kinds of commemorations that we see but might not quite understand what your role is.
We do a lot of celebrations of life for people. We do funerals. I work with all the funeral homes in the area, and sometimes outside of the area. We got one from Waterville that we're going to be coming up on the Friday before our celebration. I just found out about this one. And that's, we're all volunteers. We use our own cars, we use our own gas. We go to them. I work with a lot of family members that have lost their loved ones, and it's our honor to be there for them. And it's one of those things that just hits you in the heart when you're doing it. You know, it makes you feel good that you're able to honor a veteran. And but the celebrations of life, those are for people that want to just do it at their house and have their friends and families and them over. So we do quite a few of those too. It's
a family event. We're just excited to see as many community members there as we can get. Mayor Wenatchee and East Wenatchee will both be there, say a little something about it. We'll have the Apple Blossom Queen. She'll have a little something to say. So yeah, I hope everybody shows up, and I'm hoping it's going to be a good event. I think it will. We've done a lot of practicing. We've been planning for this for a long time.
It's a good thing it was windy in Antioch on Saturday, especially at Kiwanis Park, because it was the annual Antioch Kite Festival, and the conditions were just about perfect. It's an annual event put on by the Antioch Library and the local Chamber of Commerce. Both store-bought and handmade kites went airborne during the 3-hour festival on Saturday. Plus, there were entertainment, there was food vendors and interactive games, and this has been going on for years, and organizers say it's going to go on again next year, right around the same time. The Apple STEM Network has researched the data center industry, and now the educational organization wants to share its findings with you. The research focused on data center industry trends, potential local impacts, and highlights economic benefits and workforce opportunities with stakeholders. The first Apple STEM Summit will be held in Moses Lake Tuesday, April 29th from 1 to 4 in the WEC building at Big Bend Community College. And on Friday, May 2nd, the second summit at Wenatchee Valley College at the Met Event Center. It'll be from 1 to 4 in the afternoon. The event is free to attend, but space is limited to 80 participants per location, so you are encouraged, if you want to check it out, to register early on the NCW Tech Alliance website. And finally, on this Tuesday, yesterday was a busy work day in Olympia. Democrats in charge of the state Senate and House released their operating budget proposals to guide Washington government over the next 4 years. Albert James is a Murrow News Fellow with the Olympia Bureau, and he walked us through the proposals and explains why the state treasurer is a little concerned.
We focused on building a thoughtful, sustainable plan that protects the services that people need and promotes our long-term fiscal sustainability.
Senate Democrats are proposing the state spend $77.7 billion over the next 2 years, an increase of about $6.5 billion from the current 2-year budget cycle. They attribute $4.4 billion of that increase to money needed to maintain current programs due to increased usage and inflation, while $1.6 billion represents new investments in areas like K-12 material and operating costs and special education. Over the next 4 years, Democrats say they're saving $6.5 billion in part by delaying expansions to state child care programs and requiring state employees to take furlough days throughout 2026.
Washingtonians have asked us loud and clear to look for reductions and write a balanced budget that both makes reductions as well as makes investments and adds to revenue.
As they await revenue from new taxes on the wealthy and sales and property tax changes they proposed last week, Senate Democrats plan on using state reserves in 2026 to fund the budget before refilling the accounts in the years after.
It does go low, but it quickly builds back to a very strong point due to the revenue that we're assuming.
State Treasurer Mike Pelliciotti has warned against using up state reserve funding, saying it could have a negative impact on Washington's credit rating and the state's ability to respond to economic challenges on the horizon.
We are dealing with incredible uncertainty now as the state of Washington, both with the federal government, wildfires, and other threats that might come our way, and just economic volatility. It is absolutely critical that the state not drain its rainy day fund. To do so would be very dangerous toward the future financial health of our state.
In the House, Democratic budget leaders did not touch state reserves. While they also proposed new revenue sources and have similar amounts of spending and reductions, the House proposal has slight differences from the Senate in how they're bringing in that revenue and what they're cutting. For example, they're not telling state employees to take mandatory furloughs.
We cannot balance the budget on their backs. Everything we have fought to maintain is supported by their work, and we continue to rely on their good work and want to honor that work.
The governor's office says they're in the process of reviewing the budget proposals. Governor Ferguson previously made it clear he wanted cuts first and new taxes as a last resort. Both House and Senate Democrats say they worked off his suggested spending reductions, but budget cuts alone won't work.
The impacts would just be too deep and too catastrophic for our communities and our kids. So we think this takes a balanced approach, and we really look forward to the conversation over the next many weeks.
In Olympia, I'm Albert James reporting.
And that is the news on this Tuesday morning. If you are interested in finding out what's going on around here, and we have a feeling that you do because a lot of people watch our evening news. Good for you. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock on television, 5, 6, and 10 on TV. If you are unplugged from the world of cable and you consume all of your television via the World Wide Web, a lot of people are doing that nowadays, got you covered. Our news will be posted right around 5 o'clock on our homepage, NCWLIFE.com, our Facebook page, our YouTube page. We have an app. I think we have an Instagram account. I'm not really into social media. I don't know these things. I'm an old person. And if you're out and about and you see somebody or something that might be newsworthy, you let us know. You please send us an email, news@ncwlife.com. Sports is 2 minutes away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
NCWLIFE's news team is keeping an eye on North Central Washington. Join us each weekday evening at 5, 6, and 10 for the NCWLIFE Evening News, with interviews, in-depth reporting, and the kind of insights you can't find anywhere else. We're the hometown news station for the Wenatchee Valley, the Cascade Foothills, and up and down the Columbia River. Thanks for watching NCWLIFE, proud to be part of the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival.
Merry Maids can clean your entire home, business, or vacation rental from top to bottom, inside and out. Merry Maids will even take care of cleaning your carpets, and they can pressure wash your home. Merry Maids has thousands of happy customers. They've been cleaning homes and businesses in our valley for over 25 years. Check out their glowing reviews at merrymaidesofwenatchee.com and call the cleaning experts, Merry Maids, to get your free estimate. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. So relax, it's done.
Craving fresh Asian comfort food? Steam Panda is Wenatchee's popular, family-friendly Asian restaurant. They focus on providing guests with delicious, healthy, fresh, and natural dishes for an affordable price. Warm up with one of their many popular house-made soup dumplings, ramen noodles, or pho dishes. And make sure to ask about their lunch and chef specials on sushi rolls. Steam Panda's Hawaiian poke bowl and salads are excellent with your favorite boba tea. Stop by or order online at Steam Panda today.
Caught in a conflict? Family, workplace, neighbor, business, housing disputes? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us to learn more.
26 minutes after the hour in sports, the Mariners played their final game that doesn't count. Cactus League Baseball yesterday, and because it doesn't count, they called it good. After 9 innings, the Mariners and the Padres tied at 7 apiece. The Mariners' record in Cactus League play, 11-19-2, is the worst record they've had in spring training. If it was a full spring training, anything that involved a player's strike or an owner's lockout or COVID, we're not going to count those. But if it was a full spring training schedule, that was the worst they've ever had. But the games don't count. Games that do count start Thursday, opening day for the Mariners. The A's are in town, 7:05. First pitch, bring it on. The Calgary Flames host the Seattle Kraken tonight in a battle of Pacific Division rivals. Calgary is 10-4-3 against the division. They are 33-25-11 overall. The Flames are 5th in the league, serving about 10 penalty minutes per game. They have a problem staying out of the box. Seattle has a 30-36-5 record overall. They are 8-10-1. In the Pacific, the Kraken have a 5-12-1 record in games that they have more penalties than their opponent. The puck drops at 6 on Kong TV. Cougars live to play another day. In fact, the Cougar men and the women are the only local teams left, but they're not in the NCAA, of course. The Cougar ladies advanced in the WNIT basketball tournament. They beat Utah Valley in Pullman yesterday, 57-54. That gives them the right to travel to North Dakota State on Thursday for the next round. Prep baseball schedule, just one doubleheader to speak of. That's Cascade. They'll head on down to Tri-Cities Prep for a doubleheader at 3 o'clock. It's just a single game with Moses Lake at Sunnyside. Riverview is at Liberty Bell. Eastmont and Wenatchee, the first of two doubleheaders, first of a doubleheader at Wenatchee Valley College. That game will be played at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium on the campus of Wenatchee Valley College. Eastmont and Wenatchee at 3:30. Omak and Okanagan, their first pitch is at 4 o'clock. Board baseball, Ellensburg would be at Quincy. That's a 4:30 first pitch there. Same deal with Manson hosting Warden. Lake Roosevelt will host Brewster at 4:30. 5:30 first pitch for Sealy at Ephrata. And there is game 2 of the doubleheader at Wenatchee Valley College, Cashmere and Chelan at 6 o'clock. I think you can probably pay and watch both games. I don't know. Prep softball schedule. Liberty Bell hosts a doubleheader with Riverview at 3 o'clock. 4 o'clock first pitch with Okanagan and Omak. Waterville Mansfield at Manson at 4 o'clock. 4:30, Cashmere at Chelan, Brewster at Bridgeport, and Eastmont will play at Wenatchee's brand new field at Triangle Park at 6 o'clock tonight. And girls fast pitch. And on the pitch today, Moses Lake is at Davis at 4 o'clock. They have to play early at Davis because they don't have lights on their field. Same deal with Brewster and Bridgeport, so they have to play those games in the day. Under the lights is Cashmere at Connell, Othello at Ephrata, Sealy at Quincy. Wenatchee has the first of 3 league games this week. Wenatchee plays tonight, Friday, and Saturday. They're going to be tired. They're at West Valley tonight, and Okanagan is at Omak, and those are just some of the games that people are playing at the bottom of the hour. Happy Independence Day for you folks in Greece. It's National Lobster Newburgh Day. It's International Waffle Day. But no, we're not doing any of these. Today is the international or national Medal of Honor Day. The Medal of Honor, the highest award a service member can receive in the United States military. And I was surprised to find, I knew that the Medal of Honor had begun during the Civil War. Actually, the Navy was the first. I always associated the Medal of Honor, I thought the Department of Army would be first. Actually, the Navy established the Medal of Honor for their branch of the service in 1861. The Army followed that up, and then in March of 1863, Congress would make the Medal of Honor a permanent decoration. There have been 3,525 Medals of Honor awarded to 3,506 individuals. 19 individuals have won it twice. 40% of all the Medal of Honors were awarded during the American Civil War. And of those 3,506 individuals, only one woman has ever received the Medal of Honor. Mary Edwards Walker was her name. George McClellan, when he was the General-in-Chief of the Civil War for the Union, he did not like the idea of the Medal of Honor. He said it's too European. We're not going to do that. There's Teddy Roosevelt right in the middle. He's the only president to receive the Medal of Honor. He was dead when they got it, won it posthumously. The youngest soldier on the right, he was just 11 years old. He was a drummer in the Union Army. His name was Willie Johnson. The award might be called the Congressional Medal of Honor, but it's actually just the Medal of Honor, not the Congressional Medal of Honor. And today is their day today. Here's one each for the Army, the Navy, and the United States Marine Corps. 31 minutes after the hour. Today in history. Happy birthday to what many people consider the most beautiful city in the world. I have never been to Venice. I have two friends who have been to Venice, and they say it is, in fact, stunningly gorgeous. Venice is founded on this date 1,603 years ago, in 421, March 25th was when their dedication of their church. They consider it their birthday. Believe it or not, Venice was an open city. It was an independent state for almost its entire lifetime. Venice did not become a part of Italy until 1866. Of course, it's Venice, which means there's not a single car to be had anywhere. People get around on boats, in canals. There are 170 canals, 472 bridges, and 126 little islands that make up Venice, which is getting harder and harder to visit because people are loving it to death. Venice is 1,603 years old today. And the most tragic industrial accident in this country's history, which changed this country's history. In New York City, the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory breaks out in a very short period of time. In about 15 minutes, 146 people would die. 62 of the victims either jumping or falling to their deaths, the rest dying from the fire itself, from smoke inhalation. It was a game changer. The doors to the stairwells and the exits were locked. It was a common practice to do that. They didn't want workers to take unauthorized breaks. They didn't want workers to steal anything, and they didn't want workers to organize unions, which means basically the vast majority of the workers who could not escape from the burning building were trapped, and they had no choice but to jump. 62 of them jumped to their deaths, and the only available fire escape was so poorly constructed that when the bunch of people got on it, and there it is, they simply couldn't handle the overload, and the only available fire escape collapsed. When it was all said and done, 146 died, almost all of them immigrant, Jewish, and Italian women. And that started, well, it started a lot of change in the garment industry as a whole on this date in 1911. Birthdays. This guy probably saved more lives than anybody in history, Norman Borlaug. He is an agronomist. He came up with the idea, the problem with wheat would grow tall and thin, it would get top heavy, it would fall over, and it would be completely useless. Norman Borlaug developed semi-dwarf, high-yield, resistant wheat varieties so the wheat could grow thick and short and be harvested before it would fall over. And after that, all the major wheat growing regions in this country who could not grow enough wheat to feed their own people would grow enough wheat not only to feed their own people, but would have a surplus that they could just sell overseas. The father of the Green Revolution, most people credits him, Norman Borlaug, for saving the lives of over 1 billion people who would otherwise would have starved to death if he hadn't come up with wheat that could be not only harvested, but harvested more than once in a growing season. Howard Cosell. I always liked Howard Cosell. Whenever Howard showed up on television, I watched. A lot of people didn't like Howard. I liked Howard. He was definitely an individual. And, you know, before Howard, all the sports commentators and play-by-play guys, they were just cheerleaders. Howard was not. We need more Howard Cosells, born in the state in 1918. Just one word, Aretha. Aretha, the first woman inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987, National Medal of Arts, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, Gospel Music Hall of Fame. Rolling Stone magazine 10 years ago ranked her #1 on their list of the greatest singer of all time, and her voice is stunningly remarkable. We miss Aretha Franklin, but we got the music. And speaking of music, Reginald Dwight, Reg Dwight, a.k.a. Elton John, who's got so many awards, he had to buy another mantle. The great Elton John is 78 years old today. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. 70 today, mid-70s tomorrow. If your system is set for auto, you might not want to do that. It just can't switch from heat to cooling on a dime. Make sure when the summertime heat comes and your system switches from heat to AC, that it's ready for the challenge. Give the folks at Alpine Air a call. Mike McNally's got an opinion coming up, and then live in this studio, one last visit, a trip down wild hockey memory lane as we wrap up the 2024-2025 campaign with Austin Andrade. He's next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
I'm Jen Mueller. Watch for my show, I Cook, You Measure on NCWLIFE. It's part cooking instruction, part entertainment, and all about connecting over food and wine with your favorite Northwest athletes.
Watch I Cook, You Measure with Jen Mueller Mondays at 1, Wednesdays at 2, Fridays at 11 a.m., and Saturday and Sundays at 10:30 p.m. right here on the NCWLIFE channel.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
Whether you're building from the ground up or transforming your space with a custom remodel, One Way Construction is your trusted partner in creating a home that's uniquely yours. Your dream home is just a call away. Schedule your free consultation and let's build something amazing together.
Your piece of land demands the very best equipment. Kubota equipment. The #1 selling compact tractor in the U.S. With professional grade mowers, versatile sidekick utility vehicles, and compact tractors that get it done right. All backed by unmatched dealer support. Talk to your dealer today to schedule a demo.
This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. For years, our president has complained that foreign governments are releasing their criminals and sending them to us. Now, whether this is true or not, I don't know. But what I do know is that almost immediately upon assuming the Oval Office, the man releases 1,500 convicted felons back into the American population himself. And then he has the gall to say, I pardon J6 people who were assaulted by our government. They didn't assault. They were assaulted. And what I did was a great thing for humanity. January 6th, an event in which 140 police officers were injured and 5 ultimately lost their lives. And releasing those responsible was a great thing for humanity? This is Mike Mad Doug Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
It's the NCWLIFE Community Calendar, brought to you by Valley Tractor and Rentals. The Wenatchee School District is hosting a job fair for prospective bus drivers on Saturday, March 29th at the Transportation Building next to Wenatchee High School. You can apply in person and test drive a bus. The 25th edition of the Mariachi Northwest Festival concludes with a gala concert on March 29th at the Wenatchee High School Auditorium. The headliner this year is Shalala DeCal and features the award-winning Mariachi Hanachi.
What are the best words you can hear tonight?
Order ready for Susan?
And if you hear those words at Abby's, you know it's going to be a legendary meal. Your pizza is loaded with toppings to the edge, premium ingredients, and real cheese. Yeah, baby. Gather with friends, play some video games, and watch the big game on TV. That's made Abby's a legendary pizza tradition for generations. And when you're ready to hear those magic words,
Tom, your order's ready.
You know where to go. You're always welcome at Abby's.
Merry Maids can clean your entire home, business, or vacation rental from top to bottom, inside and out. Merry Maids will even take care of cleaning your carpets, and they can pressure wash your home. Merry Maids has thousands of happy customers. They've been cleaning homes and businesses in our valley for over 25 years. Check out their glowing reviews at merrymaidesofwenatchee.com and call the cleaning experts, Merry Maids, to get your free estimate. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. So relax, it's done.
Remember when you could afford to have fun on 2 wheels without breaking the bank? Maybe you started on a Honda Z50 or a Trail 70 or one of the most popular Hondas of all time, the Trail 90. Well, Honda and Doghouse Motorsports are making fun affordable again. Introducing the Honda Monkey, the Dax, and the new updated Trail 125, all featuring fuel-injected 4-stroke engines with electric start. The best part of all, they are affordably priced under $5,000. Whether you're just getting started or you want to get back at it, Doghouse Motorsports has you covered.
Memories pressed between the pages of our mind. That's all I can sing. We have to pay mechanical royalties to the estate of Elvis Presley. It's time to wrap it up, folks. I wish we weren't. I love visiting with you, Austin. I learn a lot about you, but this sucks because here you are to wrap up the season and not talk about the first round of the playoffs in the WHL because we ain't in it. Austin Andrade, broadcasting voice of the Wenatchee Wild. Hey, bud.
Good to see you.
How you doing? How you doing? Because this, I know you're kind of disappointed.
It's been a little odd. Just like you said, we're not talking about playoffs this week. We knew going into the weekend that these 2 games are going to be our final games of the season, and that's kind of an odd thing because when you're in the playoffs, you're thinking about the next game. The next game is either early enough in the series that it doesn't matter as far as elimination goes, or somebody's season may end tonight, but we're not sure. Or it's Game 7 and somebody's season definitely will end, but it may be us, it may not. So it's different to go into a weekend saying, okay, this is it. We know this is it. We're going to say our goodbyes at the end of the night, send our 20-year-olds off hopefully the right way, and we'll call it a season. A week later, the ice will be out in the at Town Toyota Center, and it's a little different this year, but it's been a great season, and we accomplished a lot this year. 23 wins, a group that was competitive all through the season and was competitive really in almost every game we played.
The thing that jumped out with me as I was doing my homework, and we'll talk about this a little more in depth after we show the highlights, we had a tendency to play to the level of our competition. When we played the teams that really didn't have the skill, we had a tendency to play not so good, but when we took on the good teams, the better teams in the league, when we took on the Everetts and the other teams in the Western, Conference, and Saturday night was another example of that. We had a tendency to play to the level of our competition. When we played a good team, we played good. When we played a mediocre team, we had a tendency to play mediocre. That was just my overall thought.
These guys definitely definitely gave their best when it came time to play teams like Everett and Spokane. I mean, you look at the game on Saturday night. The guys that we'll see highlights of in a sec. These guys were right in the midst of the game. Gave them a good battle all the way through the first 20 minutes. Gave up the first 8 shots of the game. Everett was controlling the pace, and then these guys got 1 shot on the net, got another, and really took control of the pace back and really evened up the game. They were able to tie the game up twice. You look at how these guys did against Spokane on the road a couple times in February and March. They were right with them, right down to the end of the game, into the third period, and a couple wins against Everett. The thing that really stands out to me against Everett was the fact that not only were we able to beat them twice, but every team in the Western Conference, save for Kelowna and Kamloops, was able to beat them twice, but nobody was able to beat them more than 3 times this season. So the Western Conference really was a conference like we've talked about all season. Anybody can go out on any given night, have a great game, and grab 2 points. And these guys definitely had a chance to do that all year.
We damn near closed with a winning note. Oh, it was so close. Went to overtime Saturday night. Over 4,000 people packed the joint. I think it was the biggest crowd of the year. I know Guns N' Hoses is huge. Hockey Fights Cancer is huge. But the season finale on Saturday night at the Town Toyota Center with extra hockey, over $4,000, and it was an entertaining game. Austin, I'm going to ask you, of course, as usual, to use the monitors. We have all highlights. You folks at home, please use your televisions. The last game of the year, highlights from Saturday night.
Well, no scoring to speak of in the first period, so we take it right to the second period, and Everett takes it right to the back of the net with Jesse Heslop. Turnaround shot from the right circle. We'll get the wide-angle view this time, show you how this one's set up. Little handoff in the corner. Heslop with a rip, and that makes it a 1-0 game. This one going just inside the back post. Everett defending the lead for most of the second period until 1 minute. 1 minute remaining in the period. Wild steal it. Criss-cross connection. Miles Cooper collects the goal, and the Wild tie this one at 1 apiece. Take another look, just a takeaway on the far point, and this angle is going to get real sharp, real fast. But Miles Cooper gets the goaltender going back and forth. Raiden Legall's not going to be able to stop this one, and the Wild send it to the dressing room tied at 1 apiece. We go to the third, just about midway through, and Seattle takes the lead. Backdoor, Owen Cooper against his older brother, his first WHL goal with his family in the house, but the Wild needed less than a minute to respond. A blast from the left point. This one gets cleared out all the way to the blue line, and then Lucas Sherbina lets it fly low to the net, and this game tied at 2 apiece. Yeah, take a bow, Luca. Celebrate. You deserve it. Check this one out all the way up top, and this one tied at 2. We go to overtime, period 4 out of 3, and with the change on at the bench, Jesse Heslop drops it off, gets a pass back, and says, boys, let's go home. 3-2 win. Nice move around the goaltender to finish it off, and Everett grabs the victory, their 48th of the season. The Wild finished 23, 36, 8, and 1 on the season. A lot of overtime points this year for the Wild. A lot of games going to overtime. It's always a coin flip. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. But even the games that the guys didn't win, they were in just about every one of them.
A lot of one-goal losses, a lot of them. The back-to-back Prince George's and a few others jump out at me in the last, say, 10, 12 games of the year. A lot of the losses they weren't blowouts. They were 4-3, 5-4, 3-2 kind of stuff.
They were very, very close. You look at the Prince George games, those were 2-goal games, but in both games, the Cougars grabbed the empty net goal with a minute to go or less. The one on Saturday last week, I think, was 1 second left in the game from center ice. So these guys were definitely in every game, even the losses, with the exception of enough to count on one hand. These guys were right in the mix every single night.
We need to give the Thunderbirds credit where credit is due. The last 9 games of the season, when we were chasing Seattle, we were within 3 points a couple of times. But over the last 9 games of the regular season, Wenatchee went 3-6-1 for a grand total of 7 points. Seattle did the exact opposite. They went 6-3-1. They got 13 points to our 7 points for the last last 9 games of the regular season, basically the month of March, and that was the difference.
Yeah, they got hot at the end of the season. Credit to the Thunderbirds. They took care of business and got hot right at the right time. I think a lot of that credit can go to Scott Ratzlaff, their goaltender, who was excellent for them down the stretch. He's drafted by Buffalo. They're looking forward to having him here pretty soon, and I think he's made it pretty clear when the going gets tough, he's going to get going for him.
Very exciting news out of the corporate office, the Western Hockey League's office in Calgary yesterday. You remember the Penticton Vs, our old friends from the British Columbia Hockey League? Austin, talk about this. I think this is fantastic. Talk about the big news from yesterday.
Yeah, so the Penticton Vs have come to an agreement with the Western Hockey League to join the Western Hockey League starting next season. So they'll be part of the BC division with Kelowna, Vancouver, Victoria, Prince George, and Kamloops. And I think it's going to be a great fit for the league. It's going to be an outstanding fit for our travel. It's another organization that is within 3.5 hours drive of Wenatchee. So it's essentially no longer than a division trip. Any overage is really spent in the processing at the border. So it's going to be an outstanding fit. They run an excellent operation up there. Graham Fraser, their president, GM, head coach Fred Harbinson. They've done a job over the last how many years that has really been a level above. We've tried to do that here in Wenatchee. They've certainly done that in Penticton. They've got a first-class facility up there. They have the Young Stars tournament during rookie camp every year with the Western Canadian NHL teams. Bring their rookies out there and skate them for a few days against each other. So it's certainly a facility, an operation that I think is going to fit very well in the Western Hockey League, and certainly will fit pretty well within our travel and our travel budget.
It makes perfect sense across the board for Penticton, for the Wenatchee Wild, for the league as a whole. This is a very natural move. Now, this is an expansion team. It's not. They're going to be the Vs, but it's going to be a whole new team from the one that's been playing in the BCHL for a long time. Yeah, so they'll have an expansion draft coming up. I believe it'll be in May, right before the U.S. and prospects drafts. But they'll also have the opportunity. Some of their guys have their rights with other WHL teams, so they'll have the chance possibly to list some guys that they want to keep who are not under contract with any other team. But they'll also be full members of those drafts coming up. They'll have the CHL import draft in probably late June, early July. They'll have a spot in that as well. So they'll be able to build that team pretty quickly, and I think I think the expectation is they'll be fairly competitive right from the jump with the options that they'll have. So Penticton joins the league, and they'll start skating in games that count come September of this year, and then in September of 2026, Chilliwack will be joining the league. Not the same Chilliwack team that we used to play in the old BCHL, but Chilliwack has been granted an application to apply to the league. Yeah, so the WHL will take bids and proposals from potential owners to bring a team to Chilliwack. The building in Chilliwack was built, I think it was 2002, and has been under the control of the hockey club. But sounds like the payoff of the debt that was financed with the building of the arena, they've transitioned or are transitioning the ownership of the arena back to the city. They're in the transition period right now to be completed, I believe, by 2026, which is when the new team would come online. So that's how they're able to bring a new team to Chilliwack, is because the city will soon have ownership of the building and will be able to bring it out to a new ownership group, or the same ownership group potentially if the Chilliwack ownership decides we want to be part of the WHL and bring this thing in as well. But the league will hear proposals, and they'll find the right fit, and I think it'll be a good fit, certainly another good travel partner for Victoria. Right over the border, they'll be right in between Victoria and Chilliwack, and potentially have another new rival right on their doorstep. Running a little short on time, real quickly, they handed out the hardware a week ago for the annual banquet. They handed out the MVP, the forward defenseman, rookie, most improved, and fan favorite. You mentioned Luke Sherbina, who scored on Saturday night. He won, to me, the most important of all, the fan favorite award. That went to Luca. Real briefly, a little rundown on the award winners and where they go from here.
Yeah, so Evan Friesen picked up our most valuable player, I think partially on the strength of his being our top scorer this year and really playing his best hockey at the end. And I think partially based on his leadership as well, the way he's guided this team over the last, not just over the last year, but really over the 4 years that he's been with the program. You look at Radoslav Dimitrov, who's the most improved player this year, improved greatly from the start of the year to the end of the year, got some time with the forwards toward the end of the season. Miles Cooper was named our top forward, was an outstanding scorer for us. He improved greatly, as did all the guys during the season. Reed Andreessen, our #1 scoring defenseman, and really one of our great leaders on the blue line this season. You mentioned Lucas Sherbina, who was always a fan favorite, came to the ice, came to the building with a smile on his face almost every day. And you look at our Rookie of the Year, Sean Rios. He's a 19-year-old rookie, but coming out of Shattuck St. Mary's, a late birth year, so turned 19 early in the season. And his first year in junior hockey really showed up and played big minutes for us. When he was out of the lineup for a few games in February, we noticed his absence, and I think that certainly helped his case for our Rookie of the Year this year.
Congratulations to all of the winners. The WHL playoffs begin Friday for the most part. A couple of series don't start until Saturday, but for the most part, everybody takes to the ice on Friday, with the exception of us. We won't get into that. #1 seed is Everett. #8 seed is Seattle. Outside of the fan bases, I'm thinking Everett should probably take care of business in 5 or 6 games.
They're certainly the favorite, but we mentioned Seattle has been hot this season, and Everett's got some guys back from injury. They're playing some good hockey right now. I wouldn't count out the Thunderbirds. I think it's going to be a good series.
Victoria and Tri-Cities, this is a matchup of two teams that have exact opposite. Tri-Cities is known for their defense and their goaltending, and Victoria is known to put the puck in the back of the net. Two entirely different styles. Victoria's the #2 seed, Tri-Cities the #7 seed.
Victoria comes in as the favorite in this one. Like you said, they've got a high-powered group, and we're certainly keeping an eye on the couple of former Wild players on the active roster. Hayden Moore's been with them for much of the year, and Kenta Iso guy's had a whale of a half a season since he came over in that January 1st trade. So we're looking forward to seeing what those guys can do against Tri-City. We're looking forward to a good series there.
#3 seed is Spokane, who I'm on record as saying might be, in fact, the best team out of the West. They get to take on the #6 seed Vancouver. Who do you like there?
Spokane, they've got maybe the best line in junior hockey right now with Shea Van Olm and the 2 high-end draft picks, Berkeley Catton and Andrew Crystal. Vancouver, I think Cameron Schmidt gets overlooked sometimes. He's a high-end scorer. He's got a lot of upside. He's got a great future in the sport, but I think he gets overlooked a lot of times with all the other firepower around the rest of the league. Those 3 guys in Spokane, plus guys in Everett, Medicine Hat, Gavin McKenna, and so on. But I wouldn't count out Vancouver. They got some good goaltending with Burke Hood, too.
And the 4 versus 5 seed, which almost always goes to at least 6 games, oftentimes 7. If history is any indication, Prince George and Portland will do battle in the 4 versus 5 seed.
A lot of high-end talent, a lot of depth on these two teams, too. I think it's going to be a balanced series. I wouldn't even know where to pick a winner out of this one because these two teams match up pretty well.
When do I get to see you again? I don't know. We'll figure something out.
Yeah.
We'll figure something. They got drafts, as you mentioned, that there's like 4 drafts coming up, and plus an expansion draft, which is kind of new. But we won't be strangers. No. Fair enough. You want me to do the weather forecast?
Sure.
Sure. Check this out. Here's the weather forecast. Sunny and nice, the kind of weather that you have in Iowa, the home state of Austin Andrade. Sunshine, just a few high clouds, high of 70. Yeah. Last time we got to 70 was on October 21st. I won't know what to do with myself. 49 for the overnight low tonight. Wednesday, warmer still, close to a record high. Our record high on Wednesday, 74 degrees. That was set back in 1994. We could be right at that mark, but it will be very unstable and late in the afternoon, early evening on Wednesday. A thunderstorm in March. It's a possibility with this unseasonably warm weather, and then significant rain overnight Wednesday into Thursday. We cloud up, we cool down to temperatures where they should be. Saturday looks pretty good. Austin, it's always good to see you. Everybody have a good and safe Tuesday. Enjoy the bountiful sunshine. Wear the SPF just in case. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.